Welcome to our exploration of natural pest control. Today we delve into the fascinating world of beneficial insects and the crucial role that healthy soil plays in keeping pests at bay. Would you agree that each year there are more and more pests in the garden and they are getting more resistant to the methods of control that we're using? On the bright side, there are different methods that we can use together that can help us to either prevent or control these pests in our gardens. Beneficial insects is one of those methods. So, in our garden, for some of us, we live in regions where we experience different climatic conditions throughout the course of the year. And so, for some, they will have to bring in beneficial insects to help to control these pests. And depending on how severe the changes are between the seasons of the year, sometimes you may be able to bring the beneficial insects in one and they keep coming back each year, or you may have to bring them in each year. And then there are those of us who these beneficial insects are naturally found in our surroundings, and all we have to do is to create the sort of environment that is going to attract them. As we encourage beneficial insects in our garden, it is important that if you're going to be bringing in these beneficial insects, you do your research before you decide on what type of insects to buy. Let me tell you a story about when I started my indoor garden last year and something that I did this year that caused some issues for me. So last year I started growing inside in my basement, and the plants were growing fast, they were looking healthy, they were thriving, and I was satisfied. But then I went to the store and I saw them with some basil, and I thought, oh, these look good. I should probably put these into my garden. So I bought the basil, I took it home, I inspected it. I didn't see any form of pest on it, so I put it in the garden. Now, here's a rule that I always follow, but this time I didn't complete. I, excuse me, I didn't completely follow that rule. So my rule is once I'm purchasing a plant to put in my garden, for 2 weeks before the plant can go into the garden, it has to stay separated and inspected and treated for pests just in case it has pests on it. But this time I inspected it, didn't see any evidence of pests, so I did not treat it. I put it in the garden. Guess what happened? Yes, it had aphids on it, and those aphids took over my garden. Now, this is an indoor settings where it's only the few plants that I'm growing inside that is available. They are enclosed indoors, so they can't fly off and go and find other plants. So as they breed, all of those aphids are just going to be attacking my few plants. So as my kids are in school, and I thought I would do some interesting projects for them, so I decided, okay, I'm gonna get me some ladybugs and I'm going to get me some praying mantis. So I went ahead and I bought those. I researched how to take care of them and things like that, how long the eggs would take to hatch, everything. But there is one very crucial thing that I should have done, and it is only after I purchased it that that thought came to me. I should have looked at the relationship between praying mantis and ladybugs, because after purchasing both of them and doing the research after the purchase, I realized that praying mantis eat ladybugs. So when you are in a situation where you have to bring in your beneficial insects, you want to research the relationship between them. You want to ensure that they are compatible, or else your purchase will be in vain. Yes, so that is one thing to consider. And the next thing is that you know how it is where sometimes you are using one method to control pests, and sometimes that one method, it is working, but it's not working fast enough. And so you come up with a plan B. And a lot of time our plan B is to use natural or organic pesticide to help to control these pests, because this pesticide does not affect the beneficial insect depending on the type that we're using. And this is where it is important. Some sort of pest, some types of pesticide will work on the pest, but it will not affect the beneficial insects. There are some pesticides, however, and notice I'm talking about organic pesticide because I would never recommend chemical fertilizer, chemical pesticides. So what is important is to research the effect that these pesticides that we're using is going to have on the beneficial insects in our garden. We want to ensure that we are doing everything to protect these beneficial insects because they are our first line of defense. The pesticide is our second line of defense. It is our backup plan. Now, do you know why a rope has more than one strands? It is to make the rope stronger. So in addition to having beneficial insects in our garden to help us to control pests, it is important that we had a second strand, which is healthy soil. Healthy soil is important because it is a living ecosystem that consists of the soil and all the beneficial microbes and other organisms that is in the soil. Now, these work together to help us to have that robust, healthy, strong, vibrant garden. And once we have that healthy soil, what it does is strengthen the plant so much that the plant is able to either avoid attack from these pests or to combat the attack from the pest. So we want to have, on one hand, we want to have those beneficial insects. On the other hand, we want to have the healthy soil, because when you put those two together, it is like the strands of a rope that make it stronger, that makes the plant able to stand up on its own and defend itself. Now, how can you get this healthy soil? To get healthy soil, what you need is to add organic matter to your soil on a consistent basis. Every year, you should be adding at least 2 inches of organic matter to your soil or more. That is important because this organic matter is what is going to be feeding the beneficial microbes and other organisms that are in your soil. And as these process these organic matter and they break down, it's going to make the nutrients readily available to your plant. It is going to help with moisture retention. It is going to help to prevent soil erosion. There are so many benefits when you have this organic matter to your soil. Now, one thing that is important, and this is where I fall short sometimes, I am kind of biased towards worm castings, and so I will stick to worm castings and compost. Now, when you are trying to develop a healthy soil, it is so important that you use more than one means of organic matter. Why? Because each type of organic matter that you add to your soil is going to add a different type, a different set of beneficial microbes. So say, for example, you are adding cow dung to your soil, you're adding goat manure to your soil, you're adding compost that is made from kitchen scraps, your leaf litter, even cardboard, because I had a cardboard in my garden. So whatever you're adding, worm casting, each is going to have a different set of microbes, and so they're going to be working together to make your garden healthier. So that is how you're going to help to prevent your garden from being attacked by pests. And if your garden do get attacked by pests, the plants are strong enough that they can defend themselves, so that you and your family can have a nice, healthy garden that you can enjoy. Did you find this video beneficial? If so, please let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If there's anything else that you would like to learn on this topic, please feel free to reach out to me. I will gladly do a video on that for you. Now, let me ask you another question. What method do you use to control pests in your garden? We'd really like to hear your opinion, because your experience can help others. So please feel free to share. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Yeah, man, a time for growth.